Welcome to Real Talk with Coach Sherri, and this podcast is for everyone who craves self-improvement and awareness. I'm most excited to connect with the 50 and over crew because we are vintage and made up of complex experiences that has aged us like fine wine, which increases our value each day. And let me tell you, the other day I called my father and I said, "Dad, how you doing?" He said, "I'm doing great. I'm aging like fine wine." I was like, you know what? He must be listening to my podcast and I love it. There's always room to learn and grow. So, for my podcast, I want you to have your pen and paper ready so that you can take notes and reflect on life's wisdom. Cheers to real talk and seasoned dialogue. Join the conversation in the comment section. I love conversating with you down there. So, thank you for tuning in. So this is my third part of the Finding Your Focus series. I hope you were able to catch the other two regarding, your focus, because in our journey to enhance productivity and achieve our goals, rebuilding focus is going to be crucial. The first podcast, if you missed it, was about finding your focus and overcoming distractions and boosting productivity. And there we discussed the impact of distractions. The second podcast was Finding Your Focus, Harnessing Distractions for Productivity, where we dive deeper into how we can effectively manage distractions to boost focus, productivity, and creativity. Today, we're going to go over, and you might want to title your page, Rebuilding Your Focus. And I'm going to provide you with 4 essential steps. It's going to be really important to write these down. I'm going to give you action steps as well as questions to reflect on. When you hear some new information, sometimes I know for me, I have to let it marinate. And I'm like, how am I going to implement this into my life? I always love to take away something that I can definitely bring into my life, enhance my life, something that can empower me. And I know you listening to this podcast that you're just the same. And that's why for each of those essential steps, I am going to have some moments where I will provide those action steps. I will provide those reflective questions. And don't just keep this information to yourself. Share it with your family, your friends. As you go out for the holidays, let this be part of your conversations. Let your conversations be about uplifting each other, providing information that's going to propel each other forward, especially forward as we getting closer and closer to 2025. What? I can't believe that we are almost at the end of this year. This year has gone by so fast as if it had someplace to be, and I'm just trying to keep up. And so as I'm providing you with this information, it's a reminder for me too. None of us have arrived. We all need some improvement. And I know I love learning every day. And even though this is my content, I still, as I say it to you, as I share it with you, it's reminding me to do those things as well. So I want to say thank you, not just for tuning in, but also helping me remember as well. So let's get right into it. I hope again that you have your pen and paper ready. So, in today's podcast, we're going to explore the 4 steps to accomplish this, and that is prioritize, do what's most important, let go, and do one thing at a time. Listen, this year again went by fast. I'm sure there were so many things that distracted you, that made you pivot from one point to the other, things that, got you off kilter and just off the grid, and you were probably like, man, I did not accomplish certain things. And in these last 3 weeks, you're probably trying to pack so much stuff in. And, I just want you to understand that, yes, we're approaching a new year, but come December 31st, January 1st is just the next day. It's the next day. Yes, it's a new year, but it's also the next day. So let's just keep the momentum going. Let's just keep it rolling. Let's not stay in our paused state where we find ourselves paralyzed because we're over analyzing things. All right. Now, before we begin, again, make sure you have your pen and paper ready so that you can take notes. Capture the action steps, and I am going to have some sections where you are able to really reflect on questions around the information that I'm sharing. I don't want you to just listen to this podcast as background noise. I'm sure you are maybe cooking dinner, maybe getting your children ready for bed, just unwinding from your day. But I want you to truly gain something from these podcasts and become empowered to make different choices that will make the changes that you seek with greater frequency. So, step one for, again, the title is Rebuilding Your Focus and the Four Essential Steps. So, the first step is to prioritize. Prioritization involves identifying your highest priorities. What are the things that are top of your list, the big things that are on your list, and the things that make life meaningful and align with your passions, dreams, and goals? As women especially, I rocks with a over 50-year-old. I'm 55, and I love every minute of it. But I know I have so many women in my circle that put other people's priorities ahead of theirs. And then they have no more energy. They're drained. They're frustrated. And they're concerned because they are realizing at this age, you know what? I have been putting everyone's priorities ahead of mine. So much so, I'm not even sure what my passions, dreams, and goals are because I've been so focused, that biggest cheerleader for everyone else. So, in today's podcast, today's lesson, we are going to help you uncover those things, all right? What your passions are and dreams. And here are some action steps. So, in your notebook, you should be writing down action steps. And the first is list your biggest priorities in life. List what are those priorities. Number two, identify your dreams, passions, and ideas that you want to explore. I always tell people dream big, dare to dream. What are the things that you truly want to explore? Not the things that you see on a day to day, not the most common things, but think bigger than that. Dare to dream. Number three, reflect on what makes life most meaningful for you. And number four, determine what distractions are keeping you from achieving these things. Is it maybe you're connected too much to your phone and every time it rings, you must answer it. Even emails, a lot of people I find all throughout the day are checking their emails. You want to set up times throughout the day to check your emails. I check my emails 3 times a day: the morning, early, like mid to early afternoon, and late evening. Not late evening, but towards the close of business. All right, step two. Do what's most important. Focus on activities and ideas that inspire you the most and give you the biggest thrill or surge of energy. Tap into who you used to be. What are those things that really gives you energy? I always say laughter is food for the soul. And if you have not laughed in a long time, you need to check that. Why haven't you laughed? What are you doing that's keeping you so uptight, so wound up? Find things in life that can, give you back that thrill, that surge of energy. And here are the action steps for that. Number one, identify the most important or inspiring task you need to do right now. Number two, focus solely on that task without multitasking or getting sidetracked. So you want to be laser focused on that item. And some people say, well, Coach Sherri, it's hard for me to stay focused. I hear things in the background. If I'm working on my laptop or my iPad or something like that, things will pop up and those are distracting. Turn all of those notifications off so you don't get distracted. Stay laser focused. Number three, once completed, move on to the next most important thing. So it's kind of like, working your way down or working your way up, either way that you want to look at it. Number 4, use downtime or breaks for smaller, lower priority activities. So, a lot of times, because we do have so many things on our list, we always just try to tackle the easiest things first. But focus on big chunks of the big projects that you have going on, the big things. And then maybe when you're eating lunch or, driving to, during your commute, work on those smaller tasks at that time. And here are some reflection questions that, as this information is seeping into you, and you may already know these things, this might be an aha moment for you where you're like, aha, I remember that. You know what? I haven't done that in a while. I know a few things in my previous podcasts, especially when I talk about calendaring and time blocking. Quite a few people dropped down in the chat and was like, you know what? I always said I wanted to time block, or I used to time block, and I don't know why I stopped. Thanks for that reminder. So all of this can be those aha moments, or it could be new things, new ideas for you. Either way, I want you to just let it all marinate. And here are some reflection questions that can help you with that. So what's the most important thing on your to-do list? And that's my question to you. And as you're thinking about it, hopefully you're writing it down, making it plain. Also, if you feel up to it, put it down in the comment section and let me know what's the most important thing on your to-do list. Another reflection question is, which priority or inspiration is most important to you? Which priority is most important to you? To you, not which priority is most important to your child or to your spouse or partner or to your job or your boss or your employees. Which is most important to you? We are so quick to know what priorities are important to other people because they make sure that we know. But you have to know what are your most important priorities. The next question, what distractions are keeping you from focusing on these things? And this brings up self-awareness, which is so important. Understanding your surroundings, being aware of how you are, how you're showing up in your surroundings. What are the things that you hear, you smell, you see, you feel, I always say going to New Orleans, and we lived there for 3 years, but the air feels different. It's a thickness. It's like a moist, dewy kind of air. And that's why to me, New Orleans is like a whole nother country, not just another city. Louisiana, period, is like another country. But, being that aware of what's going on around you, not just when you go on vacation, hearing the waves or, whatever, but where you are right now. Take a moment and take a deep breath. What do you smell? Look around. Notice something that you hadn't seen in the room that you're in. It may even be the painting is tilted a little wrong. Be aware of where you're at and what's all around and how you're showing up there. The next reflective question is, what fears do you have about focusing on the most important thing? Some people are afraid to tackle it. Maybe they think, I don't have really the skill set to do it, or I'm afraid that I may not do it to the best of my ability, or someone else, has done it, and I'm afraid that I'm gonna let them down with how I'm going to approach it. What fears do you have about focusing on that most important thing? Number 3, step 3 is let go. This is a very crucial step, and it involves eliminating or managing distractions that keep you from your priorities and your things that inspire you. And here are some action steps. Number 1, you want to start with easy distractions you can eliminate, like unused social media accounts. Look at your phone, look at all the apps that you have, but especially look at those social media accounts that you don't even tap into at all anymore. I hear of so many people that have LinkedIn accounts. I love LinkedIn. But if you're not using it, then why do you even have it? You need to just eliminate it. Don't even have it on your dashboard. Clean up your dashboard so those, when you open up your phone, when you open up your device, that it's all the things that you absolutely use. Number two, work up to bigger, more entrenched distractions and addictions. You want to look at the bigger ones, and you want to be like, you know what, I'm gonna remove that for sure. Number three, question every activity and choice. If it doesn't support your top priorities, cut it or limit its impact. And that might mean some people in your circle. There are some people, we love our friends and family, but if they're not really serving you and you're finding that your energy is low when you're around them, when they're just talking about the same thing, going around in a circle, and you look up and you're like, oh my goodness, I was just with this person or speaking with this person for all these hours and nothing got accomplished. No, nothing was solved, nothing was accomplished. You may want to, limit that. And also, even with social media, scrolling through, I know I can go on TikTok and think, okay, these are very short videos. I'm just going to be on here for like 5 minutes, and it'll be 2 hours later. What? And it's just like the time went by, and that's not serving my purpose. So, think about the days that you really need to focus, and don't let those distractions come to you. Number four, you want to set firm boundaries and communicate changes to others. So if you determine, like, I'm not going to have telephone conversations during the week. I'm only going to actually speak to my circle on the weekends. Let them know that, so that they don't think, well, what's she doing, or what are they doing? They're not returning my calls. They're not doing this. But if they know, you know what, they're on their grind, and I'll catch them this weekend. I'll catch up then. They'll respect that more than just you going ghost on them. All right. So those are the action steps. Now we're going to go into the reflective questions. So the first reflective question, and again, we're talking about letting go. And letting go is, one of the hardest steps, because the things you're holding on to basically are your crutch. They're your shield. They're your excuse, really, of why you can't focus. And some people like to have those excuses because for some reason, and that's the thing you have to tap into, what are you afraid of when those things are released? Remember we talked about holding things hostage, and a lot of times we're holding distractions hostage. Distractions don't always want to stay with you. They don't, but you keep holding on to them, and then you want to blame them. So let them go so you can be free, and they can be free. They can be free too. So here are the reflective questions. What distractions can you eliminate right now? What can you just let go of right now? The next question, what distractions you're not ready to let go of? Where is that resistance coming from? Sometimes it can be, a habit. It can be you think that that's what's expected of you. A lot of times when, you are the oldest sibling, and all your life, maybe you were big brother, big sister. And even though everybody is grown, and sometimes little sister or little brother is bigger than you now, you still feel obligated to check on them, take care of them, when they actually absolutely can take care of themselves. The things that we really feel that we have to take care of most, they want to be let free too. Let them do what they do, and you'll be surprised at how high they can fly once those wings are clipped. All right. And another reflective question, how can you cut back on or find alternatives to these distractions? What else can you use to replace it? So, I had a distraction, which was my coffee addiction. I would stop. I love to get coffee out at a, coffee shop or the local Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, what have you. So every morning I would veer off and go and get my coffee. And now that I don't drink coffee anymore, it's been about 3 weeks. It's not a habit. I'm still working on it, but I have not drank coffee in 3 weeks. I am getting into my office a lot quicker, because I'm not veering off. I'm not getting that early morning frustration if the line is long or they're taking too long in the coffee shop at this, at the register or whatever. So, I'm having more pleasant mornings every morning, and I really enjoy that. And so that was a distraction for me. It really was. Sometimes, some people wouldn't think it, but it actually was a distraction. What must do activities are eating up your time and energy? And when I say must do, I put in that in quotations, like must do. You always say, I must do this. I have to do that. Oh, I just have to. I have to take them here. I have to make sure they're okay. And I'm talking about you're speaking on grown people oftentimes. So what must do activities are eating up your time and energy? And what would happen if you said no to these things? Would the world stop? What would happen? I want you to really reflect on those. Okay. Now that this is the final step, step 4, and that is the one thing at a time. You want to do one thing at a time. So focus on single tasking to improve concentration and productivity. And you may remember in one of my previous podcasts, I had said that they say multitasking is no longer a skill because no one is really doing well at it. Yeah, you may have a lot of things that you have going on, but you need to still focus on that thing when you're doing it. If you're multitasking, that means your mind is wandering to the next thing, and you're not really fully focused on the thing at hand. I don't know if they're going to come up with a new term for it, but I actually love multitasking. I'm not going to say multitasking, but I do love to juggle multiple things at once where, I have this going on and I'm working on it for a certain amount of time. I'm laser focused on that. And then I go to the next thing and I'm laser focused on that. It's almost like, no, having friendships. When you are with one group of friends, you're enjoying that group. You're not even thinking about your other friends because you're in the present moment with that group. And then when you're with your other friends, same thing. And that's how you should do whenever you're working on a task that you need to focus on. And so that task can kind of feel it. It's like your friends. If you are with friends or, yeah, but I'm just going to say friends, and you are continuously speaking about your other friends, they know, like, well, you're not really present with us. You so concerned about what they're doing over there, and we're right here with you right now. Where are they? And you just keep talking about them. They won't feel, wanted. You won't have that compassion for them because you're with them. But, it's like when you talk to someone and they always have to interject what someone else that they know was doing similar to that. That means they're not really focused on your story and how it's impacted you. So think about the things that you have, your tasks like that, where you're going to give them that attention and just be focused on them. Not saying you can't have other things, but in the moment, you're right there with that task. So here are some action steps. Number 1 is when engaging in an activity, eliminate other distractions like turning off your phone while reading. Reading is a thing, y'all. I know I love to read. I hope you do too. But if you have like your television on or your phone is not silent, that's a distraction. Number 2, you want to stay focused on the task at hand without getting sidetracked. You might want to have a timer. You might want to close your door when you're working on a big project so people that are walking by won't just know that you're available. You definitely want to time block your calendar so it shows that you're busy. Do things so that you won't get sidetracked. Number 3, when relaxing, focus entirely on that without worrying about work. So many people just won't let go. And I'm telling you, if you are sick and home, don't worry about work. Concentrate on getting well. When you're on vacation, don't worry about what's going on at work. Enjoy your vacation, because trust, those things that you're worried about, if something was to happen to you, they would still go on. They would. They absolutely would. So you need to take care of yourself and focus on your needs too. And here are some reflection questions. And the first is, what feelings come up for you around single tasking? When, I talked about multitasking and how that's really not a thing, but when you just single task, even though you might have a laundry list of things, what what feelings come up for you when you hear that? The next is, what is your biggest source of resistance to this step? And how can you address it? How can you address it? So, what are some things that you can put in place? And I gave you a few suggestions, but what other things can you put in place? The next question is, what are you afraid of discovering if you let go of distractions? What are you afraid of discovering? I feel like your best self is something you should want to discover, and that is something that can come out if you let go of your distractions. And the last reflective question is, what might be possible if you eliminate all distractions? Will you be more productive? Will you feel more fulfilled? Will you be seen as more competent? Will you save money, make more money perhaps? What might be possible if you eliminate all distractions? Right? Will you feel more satisfied? Do you feel that people will respect you more because they know they can't get over on you? People treat you how you allow them to treat you. So always remember that too. All right. So those are the 4 steps for this topic of rebuilding your focus. Rebuilding your focus is so possible. A lot of times people will say, "Oh, I think I have adult ADHD," which is a thing for sure. Or, I don't know, maybe because I'm going through menopause or I'm getting older, just all of these excuses. But if you know that there's something going on with you, that means you have to work even harder. You have to do it with intention and be more conscious of it. And so these essential steps will help you rebuild your focus. Now, I want you to remember that focus is key to doing the things you love and want to do. And by eliminating or managing your distractions, you can free up time, energy, and resources for more meaningful activities, for things that you truly love to do, and have a clear, open mind. You won't be so foggy or have those gray areas. You won't be on vacation thinking about work because you have been focused up to that point. You won't, be worried about what other people are doing over here, over there, because you are focused. Always keep in mind that distractions are optional. You have control of what you get distracted by. You can walk away, drive away, go away, step away. You can turn off, turn up, throw out. You have control over your distractions. You can speak up, communicate. So they are optional. And you can live without them if you want to badly enough. Always remember that you have those options. Don't ever think, oh, this is what I have to put up with. It is what it is. I hear that so much, but you absolutely can make changes. And when you make those changes, you'll start to see other things around you change too. And you'll have more, you'll feel more focused, more intentional, and have more success with greater frequency. That's all I have for you today. It's been my pleasure sharing this with you. Continue to support, and if you liked it, give this a thumbs up, please. And leave me a comment again in the comment section of what step resonated with you the most. It's been my pleasure. I am Coach Sherri.